Greetings, Earth people. You may have noticed that the kind of alternate Oxford, the alternate world in which the Golden Compass is set, feels a little like 1936. Let's be honest. It feels like 1936, and maybe 1934, maybe 1939. It is between the world wars, and it is a fantasy of a very traditional kind of England. As I said in one of my earlier videos, partly this is about the nod or the argumentative gesture towards C.S. Lewis's work, which is set in that time period. But it's thorough. I mean, we don't have airplanes. We have a lot of dirigibles. We have balloons. We have Barrack, which is essentially electric power, and we have a different set of. We have an alternate political shape of the world. The United States is called New Denmark instead. The Skraelings are still doing very well, but it feels like the 30s. There's no technology here that's kind of post 1940, or we certainly don't see any jet planes. Let me talk about a couple of reasons. I would also say this isn't the first or last time. It's felt kind of 1936-ish. I would argue the left hand, the kind of like, hey, we're on the cusp of a war and the nationalist despot is ranting on the radio, feels very familiar. And, Robinson loves him some blimps. He loves him some airships. Airships which have been out of fact, no disrespect to the Goodyear Company and our brothers and sisters in Akron. But the airship has been not the commercial mainstay of aviation since, well, the 30s. Why do the 30s keep coming back? In one hand, it's a moment before a certain change in maturity. If Lyra has not yet come to maturity, the world she lives in has not yet come to full modernity. That the interwar period, the period between World Wars I and II, seems like modern, but not our modern yet. A kind of early pre-modern welcome to a kind of golden age modernity. We have cars, but we don't have nuclear weapons. We don't have television. It's a world that is not like our world, and therefore is a sign of alterity that is different. This world is not yet to full modernity, just as Lyra is not yet to full maturity. That's an argument I could try to flesh out with examples from the text. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'd also say there's a larger case here. Science fiction and fantasy has a pronounced and recurring nostalgia for the 30s, partly because that's the era in which science fiction became aware of itself. The golden age of science fiction is the 1930s and early 40s. Science fiction only gets identified as a separate genre in the second half of the 1920s. In 1926. The idea that science fiction is something distinct from other kinds of literature is an idea that is invented in 1926. Science fiction magazines get rolling through that period. They begin to really flower in the 1930s, and there's a distinct literary subculture that grows up in that period. In some ways, science fiction seems always to kind of come back to this moment of its own historical creation and imagine the world as it was. Also, a lot of the formative texts have these kind of technologies. You will see the airship in all kinds of science fiction, all over the range of different styles, different political leanings. It's not just the left or the right doing it. It's in steampunk, which is a kind of retrograde kind of thing. In some ways, there's a little steampunkiness here. There's a kind of endless revisiting of the pre-World War II society and technology. What does that mean? It means different things in different books, but you should notice it. It keeps coming back. If you read enough science fiction, you'll see more of it.